To address the questions that are specific to you, I hold a Q&A live on Mondays at 5 p.m. Pacific Time. I want to talk about what is the sweet spot for units taken at the college level. And so, when you first become interested in the campus and you have an orientation or you look into the campus ahead of time, you're getting general information, right? What works for most. And things like full-time student, that's actually, I want to say it's kind of a misleading term because full-time is mentioning a minimum, right? So 12 units is what people explain to be full-time. A lot of students are being full-time because it's a requirement of something they are, maybe a program, maybe a parent. Some parents say, hey, you have to be full-time as a student because you can still get health care and have my benefits from my employer, kind of thing. So that links a lot of students where they go, oh, okay, 12 units is the minimum. An international student would have to have 12 units, let's say to keep their F1, J1, or Q1 visa, right? There's a certain number of units. It's like, hey, you have to do this because then we'll know you're progressing toward your degree in a reasonable amount of time. A student's going to come to me as a community college counselor and say, all right, so I'm interested in psychology. I want to take 12 units in fall and then 12 units in spring, and I'll take the summer off because I'm used to having my summers off. And then I'm going to come back next year and take 12 units again for fall and 12 units for spring, and I'll be done. I'll be ready to transfer. That can work at a private school because the private school doesn't really require you to have 60 transferable semester units to be competitive because guess what? They're going to charge you $60,000 a year. And that's for in-state tuition, right? And so they're willing, hey, if you're missing a good 15 units out of the 60, that gets you to that junior level status when you arrive, they're fine with that because guess what? The university's going to get $60,000 more dollars than they would have gotten if you had already completed 60 units. All right. Aside with that, that's like, okay, that's what not to do. Now let me tell you what you should do. You should not take the minimum because if you're doing a major such as something straightforward like psychology, especially if you do not have any AP scores or previously taken community college courses, you should at least take 15 units a semester because then by the time you finish 2 years, you've completed 60 units, and we're hoping those are all transferable so you can use them in the admissions process. So, perfect, right, for psychology. But then comes the student that's popping up, okay, I want to take some classes toward a STEM major. Let's say they're getting into petroleum engineering, which really can cross over as chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, aerospace, bioengineering, material science, right? Actuarial science, a high unit major. This is what happens. If you take even 15 units a semester, you'll have 60 transferable units, but you will not have all of the beginning chemistry. Most of these majors don't actually need organic chemistry, but the math, you're going to have calculus 1, calculus 2, linear algebra, differential equations, and then physics, right? You're going to have the whole series of physics. You're going to have magnetism. You're going to have heat and thermodynamics and all that kind of stuff. This is the thing. You either take 17 or 18 units a semester, what typically happens is students add summertime, right? And taking coursework, just kind of like the physics, those series type courses, physics, math in summertime, to really buy themselves time to transfer earlier. What happens after you transfer in a high? Now, for the psychology, well, regardless of what it is, you can generally make it through that program within 2 years, right? And that's like taking close to the minimum. You can still make it and graduate with your bachelor's degrees, and that's after transferring. But when you're into the engineering sciences, chemical engineering, it is not likely that you finish in those 2 years. You're going to be there 2 years and a semester, or 2 years and an additional quarter. And some students add 2 quarters or 2 semesters, that's a whole year basically. But typically, you really don't want to be taking less than 15 units.